Hello, hello, welcome to the Dolby House. I'm David. I'm working for Dolby, part of the European Dolby music team, and you might have already heard it. You are here in a Dolby Atmos enabled space. That means all the music you're hearing is actually coming from like 16 loudspeakers all around you. So we have left and center and right here on the stage. You have speakers next to you and speakers over your head. And we're hosting here for 2 days artists whose music was mixed, produced, recorded this way in Dolby Atmos. And one of these artists are AVALAN ROKSTON, and we're super happy to welcome them here on stage to talk about their music. And obviously we're gonna hear tracks from them in Atmos in this amazing setup. So please give a warm welcome to AVALAN and ROKSTON.
Buddy.
Hello, welcome on stage. Hi. Hey, good to see you. Here are your chairs. I guess you just go over there. Perfect. Cool. So nice to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Welcome on stage. So, yeah, how was ADE so far?
It's been really good, actually. It's been meeting some friends, like going to mixers and just be connected to the industry, share some experiences. Yeah, it's always really nice.
So good that you could find the time to come here to us on stage. And yeah, I mean, you have two quite distinct, different artistic backgrounds. So maybe we just start a little bit in the beginning. So AVALAN, what was, you're a Grammy nominated vocalist, producer. What was actually your first steps into the music? What were your first early music inspirations that got you into all of that?
I started off being a piano player and started singing at an early age. Started with the whole songwriting and production a little later, but late in my teens. Started uploading YouTube covers, and that got me to a point where I got some attention from Afrojack, actually.
Okay.
Who I signed to for 3 years. I kind of like developed myself sound-wise, really trying to figure out where I would like to go. And ever since, just been making music up to the point where I met Roxton. And after doing so many sessions with a lot of different people, which was great, and the music's been great, ever since we started working together, I feel like something clicked, and it felt authentic, it felt newer, and it felt very inspirational. Yeah, which is great.
Of course, that's why we're here, right? I can imagine. I think the way that you two work together, I think it's feels very inspired, I would say, how your vocals and that music fit together. But we're of course getting to that in a moment. So were you like from piano, when did you discover that your passion is for singing, for vocals?
So my dad is a singer, actually. So he put me on stage when I was like 6 years old, and I was brought up in a musical family.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of knew really early on that I loved music and I wanted to do something with it.
Did you have like education in singing as well, or like professional education in vocals, or?
Yeah, I started in a choir when I was really young, like 8 years old. It's like the national Dutch choir, actually. And once a year we would perform on stage for television. So started with that pretty early, and in the meantime was classically trained as a pianist.
Okay, all right. And then were you also playing in bands traditionally, or was it quick that you went into this more electronic side of music with your vocals?
That came later, actually.
Came much later.
Yeah, I was in the school band, and I did all of that background music in restaurants when I was like 14, 15. Yeah. It kind of started off that way, which is funny.
So, and of course, ROKSTON, you have a very different background. You're more on the producer, studio side of things. Yeah, but same question. What got you into music? What were your first things that really inspired you about music?
I think also from like quite an early age, there was just a lot of music around me with family and family friends. I played the drums and piano, and had piano and drumming lessons from 6 to 15. And then at like 13 or 12 years old, 13, 14 actually, I started producing music. At that time, I was really inspired by my older cousins who kind of got me into house music, the whole dance scene, watching like all sorts of after movies together with them, discovering new acts and music, and I was just really intrigued by that whole sound of dance production and everything that kind of lived in this world, and that's where I started. To teach myself production with YouTube tutorials, and basically been doing that ever since. Mostly for the longest time, obviously, as a hobby.
Yeah.
And then when I turned 17, 18, I got to the point where I kind of released my first proper tracks with proper labels and got a bit more professional about the whole thing.
So you kind of skipped the playing in bands and you went straight to producing, really songwriting.
I mean, I was also drumming in a jazz band, but yeah, no. There's a good reason why I like to make dance music and not jazz music. I mean.
So what a bit technical, but what workstation were you working on back then? What DAW? What audio workstation?
Logic. I've been using Logic from the very beginning. I'm still using Logic. Honestly, the only reason I started on Logic because my family computer was a Mac.
Okay.
And the same for me, also Logic, so that helps the workflow a lot.
Okay. That was, of course, very convenient. So yeah, then of course at some point you met and formed a duo, and I heard there's quite a nice story how the two of you got introduced or you met each other.
Yeah.
Can you tell that?
It was so I lived in Amsterdam for 3 years for my studies, and then moving here when I was just 18, I was still looking for new people in the new city to work on music with, especially singers, because being a producer, I just was looking for vocals. And then I was on a walk with my neighbor during lockdown, because he has a little dog, so we could go out. And then I actually heard him recording in his living room. Like I was on the street, just heard someone singing, kind of figured out where it came from.
Okay.
And saw him recording, and I was just outside waving for like, I don't know, 2 minutes.
So here's me singing, like, I don't know, getting together a track, and all of a sudden I look outside the window and I see a guy waving I'd never met. So I open the window and I'm like, yo, what's up, dude? And he's like, yeah, I'm a student, producer, looking for people to work with in the city. You want to do a session? I was like, wow, this never happened to me like this. But I was like, well, send over some stuff and let's see what we can do. And he sent over the music, and I thought it was really good. Planned a session, and started working together.
That's a very, very funny story for sure. So how did that first session then work out? Were you allowed to meet in person? How did the COVID?
I actually don't remember exactly. I just remember we grabbed drinks before and we're just talking about music and kind of discussing what both of us like, what we like to do, what we think could be interesting, going forward with new stuff. And yeah, then we did a couple sessions, did lots of different stuff in the beginning. After some time, we really had the feeling that we found a good sound, and that the whole approach to it, with having his vocals in the song and giving it a more writing-based approach and some signature vocal sound could be really interesting and unique in that in the dance scene. And then we decided it would make sense to just continue as a duo on that project.
I feel like the minute we kind of figured out a sound that felt authentic and good to us, is the minute we dropped looking at everybody else and just really try to do whatever feels good to us. And that's kind of how the sound started shaping.
So is that still the way how you keep working? That you're
I mean, yes. Usually the songs start in a very traditional, writing production approach. Like we usually just start with song ideas, hook ideas, whatever, and then whenever we have a feeling that we're both very convinced by a certain idea or something feels really good, we then dive in deeper and work out the proper production, the final product. but it's a very back and forth bouncing type of approach. Naturally, being together in a duo, you just get more resonance and more feedback. There's double the amount of ideas, basically, which is a really like refreshing and nice way to work on dance and club tracks. Because I mean, usually it's a lot of just being alone in front of your computer and being nerdy about production, which is a great part of the whole thing too. Like that's fun. But yeah, it usually starts with just sending back and forth ideas until we feel like, oh, this is cool, this is special, and then we dive in deeper.
And then, of course, one of the first releases that you did was actually a collab with Moby, which I think is super interesting. Can you tell a bit how that came to be?
I mean, in the end, he found it on SoundCloud.
Okay.
We teased it because we started off the social media, our social media game with like just teasing remixes we made.
Yeah.
And that one was one of the first ones that got pretty big on socials. We decided to upload it to SoundCloud.
Yeah.
For then to be discovered by Moby, and that kind of started the chat of like, should we consider this to be our first release, and like, how should we go about it? And to Moby, are you open for us to use your masterpiece and make it our own? And are you down to be featured on it? And yeah, it was a great first step for the project.
And he liked it. Did you like? Did you sit together in a session ever, or was this all remote?
Unfortunately, not. So this was coming right out of COVID, and it was like the stereotype social media story in a way. Like we just did something that got discovered by him and his team. They really liked what we did with it, so we were lucky enough to have him be on board and do it together. But yeah, unfortunately we never sat down together and like worked it out with him.
So I can imagine Moby was certainly an artist, a producer that you're like very inspired by, and that it was great that he worked with you. What other DJs, artists, producers are you listening to, and whose music is inspiring you?
I was super inspired the last couple years by Artbat and other people from that side of genre, and the like bigger emotional stuff has always been a big influence for us. I mean, the good thing now is I think it's so diverse. There's so many people being really successful with different sounds, and we try to grab as much different influences as possible and then kind of combine it to something that makes sense in our world. But yeah, I don't know. For example, starting out when I started producing with like 14 years old, one of my biggest inspirations was Hartwell.
Yeah,
isn't anymore, but there's so many. I love what Swedish House Mafia are doing. Always kind of pushing new stuff.
But also the organic acts like Rufus Du Sol and Who Made Who.
Okay.
We also take a lot of inspiration from.
That's a very wide range, range of genres, but I can totally.
But it's all musical.
Yes,
in
exactly.
A way,
I think the one consistent line in the inspirations we have is that it's quite emotional, very melodic, and we both also just love like cutting edge new sound designs. So whenever someone is doing like introducing a new sound, something exciting like that, always inspires me. As a producer, I'm very like sound driven sonically, so I get a lot of inspiration from acts that just like introduce new sounds.
Yeah, I can totally hear that in your music, definitely. So let's probably hear the first song after all that. First track that we want to play today is Ocean. Again, I think it really sounds really nice in this space, very immersive, because it's kind of, you're in that ocean of sound all around. So I really enjoyed hearing it, especially here as well. But anything you want to share about the story behind that track before we play it?
I mean, maybe, because that song, just quickly, is a good example of the workflow we have or have had. Because it all started out with Valentine sending me just a quick vocal idea on WhatsApp, just like an audio file on
Which I
WhatsApp.
actually recorded in that living room as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and we were both like, oh, this feels really good, like please just send me over the vocal. And then I did my version. We then got together and like refined it a bit, but yeah, just super organically. That's how a lot of our ideas start, or used to start, by literally just like voice memos or quick MP3 bounces on WhatsApp.
Yeah. It usually starts with a vibe. And
Yes,
then we built the
exactly.
soundscape around it.
I can imagine. So let's play that song and then we can talk a bit more. Okay, let's listen to Ocean.
I want you to let me in.
Cool, thank you. I hope everybody down there liked it. Yeah. So we are, of course, you're a little bit vocal mono, vocal solo if you're sitting up here. But yeah, I was down there yesterday and listened to it. It really translates. I think your music works very well in this immersive space. Again, also across with the visuals, I think, to create this, very immersive experience. Which, of course, you also do, I guess, when you do your live performances. I mean, your live shows must be quite something. I heard a lot about it. So, how does that work? I mean, you do live vocals, you do bit of like DJing, electronic music, synthesizers. How does your live rig look?
I mean, in the end, it's a back-to-back set, quite traditional. But yeah, Valentine is singing some of our own songs because we feel like that's just a nice way to present the music. It's fun to like always see the reaction to doing the live vocals. But yeah, we're not doing anything crazy with it because we also want to like just respect the dance floor and serve as traditional DJs if you want it that way, and build the vibe and where we feel it's like appropriate and a nice moment for it, add a little extra on top with his vocals.
Yeah, we also want to keep it cool and don't overdo it.
Yeah.
And especially the field we're in, it's very dance orientated. So usually it's like a 90-minute set, and then a couple times during the set we'd perform our songs live.
Okay.
Just like it adds a little dimension to the show, we feel like, and yeah, it's fun.
I can imagine. So I guess tomorrow, you mentioned Tomorrowland, that was probably a big highlight. Was this like the best performance, the best show, or what would be your highlight of your live performances so far?
I mean, obviously it's incredible to play at Tomorrowland, and it's been a really good show. It's been really fun, and yeah, like just the weeks before Tomorrowland, we had a couple other really nice and fun shows. So we had a really good feeling going into that show, and just got everything and more out of it that we expected. So that's definitely been a highlight for this year.
Yeah, for sure.
And then another one which was pretty nice was recently in Cyprus. We played at Bionics Festival, and that was like the first show where we got the crazy fireworks and stuff, and we didn't even know, we didn't see it because it's loud and it's behind you. But then going off stage, we saw all the videos and we're like, whoa, holy shit.
We had no clue what was going on. We played the set and we saw people liked it, and then after we see the footage and we see the craziest fireworks going off, we were like, wow, that was really, really cool.
Do you have like a bucket list, certain venues or festivals that you absolutely would like to play in?
No, we don't really have like a bucket list of this is a must do or this is like the main goal. I think both of us are like, we really appreciate the fact that you get to see different venues in different places, whether that's countries, cities, whatever, because everything is like unique in its own sense always. So I feel like for us that's a big goal to just be an act that is somewhat relevant for people internationally, and have a sound that connects with people not just in one city or one country, but is rather universal. and yeah, we're hoping to be traveling a lot next year and just see new countries, new territories. I feel like that's one of the biggest goals.
Yeah, the biggest goals is just to also increase the output, because we've been working on so much music, and there's a lot in the pipeline, a lot of ideas, which we also share a lot of on social media, to just really regularly give the fans new music and be inspired ourselves in between doing more shows and hopefully bigger shows, and yeah, to just in every territory have a show where people can go to and we can share our music.
And I was thinking, is an album on the way, or are you more thinking on a track-by-track basis so far?
We're more on a track-to-track basis, because we want to keep everything fresh and be up to date, to also be able to adapt to, like, I don't know, changes we want to make in the sound or whatever. And obviously, albums are not really that common anymore, or not working that well, which is not the reason why we don't want to do it, but it's just it makes sense to like do it on a track by track basis for now, and it's definitely an exciting idea that we're like not opposed to, but everything like at its time, it's definitely not something we're looking into now.
We also, for sure, like with every release that's coming, we want to make sure it gets the attention it deserves, which is way harder to do with an album. So that's why the strategy is now going track by track.
Okay, yeah, makes sense actually. Yeah, album is not what it used to be, right? In the times of social media and streaming. So yeah, let's look at the next track then, at the next individual track, which is "Yesterday Was Now." Can you anything you want to mention about that one before we listen to it?
I actually totally forgot how that happened. Do you know?
We were in the studio together for sure, but it's one of those.
It was here in Amsterdam.
Yeah. So we did that. We went into the session together and we created the track in like a couple hours. And it was one of those tracks where we just felt like we both really wanted to release it, and we tease a lot on social media, and usually like you tend to go for the track that resonates with the audience the most. But this time we felt like it was time to like really go with our gut, and we loved releasing this record because we both felt really connected to it. So that's kind of how that release came about.
Yeah, and with that record, that was really all about just creating a vibe and a feeling. Because we were in the studio writing it, and we were like, this feels great. Like emotionally, it did something to us. And then we had a couple different versions of the song, and with everyone, we were like, it's not something that other DJs would play or something, but it's something that just has the right sentiment to it and is fun to listen to, and really gave us like the right scenic inspirations and stuff. So yeah, also in the production, maybe you guys can hear it. It's like very soundscape vibe focus,
and it's like a full-on song too. So like it's less suitable for the dance floor, obviously, but very suitable for live. We saw that at Tomorrowland, for example. That was really like quite a big moment in the set, which we didn't necessarily expect. Yeah, it's great for live.
Works great in here as well. So
let's hope so.
Let's play "Yesterday Was Now," and then I think we open it up to some questions to the audience. So you can already think if there's something you want to ask these guys while they are still here. Okay, but now let's play "Yesterday Was Now." Yeah, I can really imagine how that works live when you're like singing this in front of a large crowd.
It's also so hard to sing. Like it's so high.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
I really struggled with that session.
Okay, I didn't notice.
Yeah, it was really high.
He was suffering, like his voice was gone by the end of the session. So it's like he wanted to sing it lower, and I was saying, "No, it sounds good in that key. We're not doing it lower." And he was like,
Perfect.
"Shit."
So we're pretty much at the end of our session, but I thought maybe we can get 1 or 2 questions in from the audience. If there is anything you would like to ask. I think we have a couple microphones somewhere. Yeah. So there we have our first question already.
That was so awesome to hear those songs on this system.
Thank you.
Seriously. So you guys produce these tracks with the Atmos system in mind, right? Is that what we heard?
Actually, no. I mean, we have Dolby mixes, and there we obviously keep that in mind. And I think, I mean, generally, music, as you also suggested, is quite suitable for it, because we always try to implement like lots of different layers and make it very spacious. So obviously, their Dolby Atmos then gives you a lot of options and like creative mixing to really emphasize that. But yeah, we actually have someone take care of the Dolby Atmos mixes for us, like our trusted mixing engineer is doing all of this. Yeah, so when we're in the studio starting a song, we don't really think a lot about the Atmos. Yeah.
But for us, it's also crazy because we have a normal mix and then we have a Dolby mix. But when we hear the Dolby mix, instead of the track that's just playing, it's moving, you know, which adds a totally different dimension to the music.
Having that much texture, I was just asking because it sounds like it's really intentional, and it is like the brain tickle feeling that you don't really get, just especially in something like this. The second question I have is a totally different one, but it is, what do you guys do for your mental health and that side of the creative aspect, especially when you're touring and traveling? Like, what does that look like for you guys with being so busy?
I mean, it's an interesting question, because I feel like a lot of it is just learning about yourself and learning about yourself in all sorts of different situations under different types of pressure or whatever. And then the second thing to that, I think that helps most, is to just be like gentle on yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. For me, sport is always a good thing to give me balance too. And whenever you're not on the road or in the studio, try to just really have intentional quality time with friends, and to also step away from stuff if it's not doing you well at the moment. Like if music's stressing me out that week, just don't make music for 4 days. Like it's fine. And that's what I mean by like being easy on yourself. Just in general, I think that's really important with creative work. Just if it doesn't feel good right now, it's also not gonna be good. Like the music you make when you're not feeling it is usually never good. So,
and it's good to also take time of what gives me energy and what costs me energy. And I think for it's all about work-life balance, which is extra hard being an artist if you're on the road a lot. And so be gentle on yourself, yes, but also really try to be disciplined and being like, okay, this is work, but now I'm off and I'm really off, which is hard with the whole social media and constantly having to generate content. But yeah, we try to do it as much as possible because it's also necessary to keep being creative and to enjoy it all and to be able to take it all in the right way.
Thank you so much. We're unfortunately at time. I would think there would maybe be more questions, but yeah, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you all for joining this session and being part of this really immersive experience with your music, which again, as you said, it's really suitable for a space like this. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Yeah, and thank you all for coming, guys. Super nice.
Thank you.